Welcome to Empire Building. I'm Wendy Papazan, and together with my 4 co-hosts, we bring you weekly unfiltered conversations about leadership, growing a big empire, and living on your own terms.
I'm Kimber Leviman-Keaty. We are investors and wealth builders with over $75 million in combined net worth.
I'm Sarah Reynolds. We are visionaries who built more than 50 businesses with over $122 million in annual revenue.
I'm Tiffany Fikes. We've led thousands of people and do it all while being pretty good moms.
And I'm Seychelle Van Poole. We are your podcast to learn how to build big businesses and even bigger lives.
I am so excited today because I have in the studio Kristen Bernard, and I get to sit down and have this very special conversation. And it's even more special than just interviewing an amazing business leader. She's also my partner in Charlotte, and our team in Charlotte, who she leads, did almost $3 million in revenue last year. One of the most competitive markets in America, and last year we were ranked number 11 out of all brokerages, out of all teams. She's a wife, she's a mom, and we're gonna dive into how she is building this big business and even bigger life. So welcome to the Empire Building Studio, Kristen.
Thank you for having me.
So as you know, Empire Building is so much about building a big business, and there's so many podcasts that are about how to build a big business, and we love following those and listening to those. But what sets our podcast apart is we don't just talk about building a big business, we talk about building a bigger life. And I would love for our listeners to hear, what does that mean? When you hear that right now, what does that mean for you right now in the season that you're in?
When I think big business and big life, I think that now in this season of my life, I refuse to build something so big professionally that it takes away or it costs me on the personal side of things. Like, it won't happen. It can't happen.
When you say cost you on the personal side of things, what would be too high of a cost?
My kids, time, being present. Just, there's so many things that I just gave away freely that weren't deserved. And I won't do that anymore.
So tell us about your kids. How many kids do you have?
We have 4.
4? Okay.
We have 4 teenagers. So
hold on. Let's just pause for a minute and just give Kristen a little prayer right now. 4 teenagers that she is momming.
That's right.
And that's a lot.
Yeah. So we have one, our oldest, going off to college. So there's lots of feelings around that, for sure. And then 2 below her, and then we have an 8th grader. So we have got 4 very different teenagers in our house right now.
I would imagine that raising 4 teenagers, and not just raising 4 teenagers, you got it's a blended family, right?
Yeah.
And so I would imagine that the relationship with them is so critical, right?
One of my biggest goals is that no matter what, right, bigger life, deeper relationships, all the things, that my kids still want to talk to me at the end of the day. You know, it's those nights around the island at 10:30 when they all come alive, and it's so different with teenagers now because, you know, it used to be bedtime and this, and now they wake up. Like they come alive at 10 o'clock at night. And so you just have to be ready and be on and soak in those moments when they're ready to talk. And that's my goal, is that they continue to want to talk to me every day.
You are such an inspiration of that for me personally. You know, my oldest is about to turn 13. So when we're recording it, well, when this airs, she'll probably be 13, which is crazy. And you have helped me so much with so many things as she's gotten older, and you truly inspire me in that way. What are some things that you've done that have opened up the communication to where when it's 10:30 at night and she's wanting to talk with you, what do you think has led to that relationship?
Well, thank you for saying that, first of all. I think it's come through growth, because I don't think it comes easy, and there's no manual for any of this. I do have some books I can recommend, but I think it's just being available, first of all, right? And then I think just we talk about everything, and I ask questions about everything, and really not coming from a place of judgment, even though there's so many times that I want to just dive deeper and ask lots of questions, but you have to have that Botox brow. You have to have that, just don't make a face. Whatever comes out of their mouth, you just sit there and just have a blank face. And I think we've just built that trust over the years, and there've been, it's not been easy at times, and there's been lots of, tough and hard conversations, but being consistent and showing up every day, and I'm going to love you no matter what, and just giving them that safe space. But we talk about everything. Yeah. And I'm like, no one's going to be more honest with you than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just know that, like, this is a safe space. We can talk about it, right? So, and again, that comes with trust too. But that's probably been the biggest thing, is just giving them that space to, and not always having to have an answer. Sometimes it's just listening. Sometimes it's just, man, that sucks. That's terrible, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry you feel that way, but not trying to make it right, or not trying to have an answer, but just sitting with them in their feelings sometimes.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, that gives me hope. 2 weeks ago, Olivia shared with me, she said, Mom, are you wondering why I have never let you read my books? So she calls herself an author, and she has authored multiple things. And I said, why haven't you let me read your books? And she goes, well, because I haven't wanted to tell you, but I'm a romance novel author. And I was like, and I did the straight face.
Right.
I sat there and okay, so I did it.
Yes.
I did
Good job.
good.
Botox
Okay.
brow. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I can check that off. Now, you lead one of the top real estate teams in Charlotte, and I'm so honored to be your partner there. And it's been it's been so fun watching you grow that location for EmpowerHome, and then also just grow as a leader and influence so many agents, that are helping serving buyers and sellers. And you're leading a big business, right? And at the same time, from the outside, right? Like, you're an amazing mom, amazing wife, you lead this big business. What are some things maybe people don't see?
Well, boundaries are a thing.
Okay.
Right? And I've learned things the hard way. And then I have taken that, and thankfully was given a second chance in many things that I could say, okay, we're going to do it differently this time. So I think, boundaries can look very different for different people, different dynamics within families. I think for us, we know we've got 4 teenagers, and they're busy and all the things. So, like, they're required to eat dinner with us on Tuesday nights at our table. Like, that's a non-negotiable, so they've got Young Life on Monday nights, and they've got, games on Thursdays, and usually Tuesdays is the one night that nobody really has anything going on. So, like, that's been a boundary for us of, like, we're going to eat dinner as a family of 6 at our table. And it's not this fabulous fancy meal, but it doesn't matter what it is. But we're together, and we sit and we talk, and no phones at the table. And now it's just kind of a routine that everybody just kind of looks forward to, because we know this is what we're doing, and it's our time to catch up. And but I would say boundaries, whether it's personal, whether it's business. I was a Pop-Tart agent, right? Like, I would take phone calls on the sidelines. I would take phone calls, I remember being in church one time and, like, being like, I've got to take this phone call, and being like, am I really going to get up and do this? Like, no, we can. This is not healthy. This is not good, right?
Yeah.
And so I think just having those boundaries in place, and again, some are hard, some are easier. They're not perfect, and there are times and weeks and days that I feel like we do really well, and then there's times that we don't. But I think just having boundaries in place around, whether it's your phone, whether it's when I answer email, or, whatever that looks like, just you've got to have some boundaries in place, or else everything is all consuming.
What led to you realizing that you needed to put those boundaries in place?
That's a big question, and we can go there, right? So early in my career, it was, in order to have a big business, I've got to answer every phone call. I've got to be there for every client. No one wants to see houses with anyone but me. No one wants, like, they won't do business with me if it's not me, right? And so I thought, in order to have this big career, it's got to be me. It's got to be me. And I wanted that for my family. I wanted to provide. I wanted to do all these things. And it ended up costing me my marriage. It cost, like, relationships with my kids. Like, you talk about missing bedtimes with your kids early on. Like, I so relate to that, because that was me. Like, I would go and I would be there for, an hour, and then I'd be back to my computer. I'd be, and it was just, and it ended up costing me pretty much everything. And I won't do that anymore.
Was there a time, maybe a point that you realized that growth, like both not just in your business, but in your relationship, right? With your husband, with your kids, with your friends? I mean, the other way that you inspire me is, I mean, you have kept a friendship group since college, right? And I mean, not many people can say that, right? I mean, you are an amazing friend, amazing friend. Was there a moment maybe that you realized that growth without boundaries maybe was unsustainable?
Well, I think when our kids started hitting the teenage years for me, like little kids, I feel like need you physically, but then like teenagers, they need you emotionally.
Yeah.
Right. They need you there to connect, to just kind of be there. And I knew that, and Lainey, my oldest, like she was kind of the front runner of that. Right. And so I thought, I've got to be here for them, right? Like this is what matters. This is the good stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, big business and all the things, right? But this hustle at all costs, no matter what it takes, like no, like this is one where I've got to be present in these moments and be all in with them. So I think them hitting the teenage years, I mean, she'll be 18, in April, and it's just like, wow, like my time is just slipping. And so just being present, I think is my main goal there for sure.
I feel that so strongly right now. I'm literally getting teary-eyed because, I'm seeing the difference of the need now that we're entering into this season. And it is, what you're saying is so real. It's completely different in terms of the need when they're little.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I mean, emotionally, their needs are so strong. So I know you mentioned the Tuesday dinner. What are maybe some 2 to 3 boundaries that you've put in place, like maybe non-negotiable, that help you protect you when things get busy?
Yes. Well, dinner being one of them. And again, there's 7 nights in a week and we have one.
Yes.
that matters, right? So we can't have perfection over that, right? So that's a big one. Obviously the technology, I feel like they're just our teenager. It's just around them all the time. So like when we have dinner, no phones. Like we have them bring their phones, and check them in, every night at a certain time, just to have them to get some downtime, right? Like just because they don't even realize sometimes that they're glued to these devices or computers or whatever it is, so giving them space to, and it's funny because they'll check phones in or bring their phones and plug them all in. And then you just hear laughing and joking and they're cutting up and I'm like, yes, they're like real kids, like they enjoy that. We had the privilege of being able to take them on vacation and where we would go a few times a year down on our boat and we would not have service. And they would ask to go and do that so that they could be away from the pressure, the, checking this or that, and just almost feeling like they had to be attached in some way. And I mean, they'd be like, can we go and like just get off the grid, like off everything.
Wow.
And I think it was just this release for them too. So don't be afraid to put those technology kind of boundaries. It's not controlling, it's not this, but like, they don't realize how much they need space from that too, right? Because it is all consuming.
Yeah.
I mean, all consuming.
Have you guys always done that? Like, was that always in place, or what? And how did they handle it?
Yeah, when we blended our family, like I was like, this is kind of how this is going to work, right? Because I didn't want them to have phones in their bedrooms at night, you know, and like and they weren't teenagers when we got married, but I thought if we start it now, it will
be what they're used to.
It will be what they're used to. Yeah. And so now, like, they don't argue about it. They just, it's kind of the rule. And if it's not up by a certain time, well, then it's going to be less tomorrow, right? Like, it's just, and now it's just part of it. And they need it. They almost, I won't say crave it, because again, they're teenagers who love, Drew is glued to watching golf videos and golf shots and trick shots and things he can, and I'm like, we have to stop. Like, we got to just take a break, right? So, but they appreciate, I think, maybe that separation, because they now get to do things that they're not, like I said, you can hear them. They're like laughing and joking and talking about their days with each other. And
oh, that's great. Yeah. So as you're running the big business, right? And you've got agents that you're leading. You're also leading buyers and sellers every day. How are you communicating boundaries to where they receive them well? Like let's say one of our agents calls you Tuesday at 8:00 at night. Tell me about how you communicate that and help our listeners, because I'm sure many of them are resonating with what you're sharing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those where I don't think boundaries are selfish, first of all, right? Like, I think it's a sign of leadership.
Yeah.
And so I hope our agents kind of feel that way too, in that I always want them to know I'm available, but also if I'm in the middle of dinner with the family, then I'm going to get back to them once it's done. But so I think they understand that boundaries are okay and you not having unlimited access all the time. And then I think now they put boundaries even for themselves because they've seen it from me, but not knowing that I'm always here, but it might not be exactly in this moment. And here's why, or here's what's going on. That's helpful for everybody to see. And you can see it in the way that they talk about their families or the way they will respond to things and I try not to do things outside of certain hours because I want them to have that time with their family, and make sure that they're protecting that time also.
Yeah, your people will always, right, not so much even follow what we say. They're going to follow what we do, right? And so when you are setting those boundaries, it gives them actually permission to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And in such a hard business to do that in, right? In helping buyers and sellers with their largest investment, selling and buying their largest investment. I mean, I think it's so critical to demonstrate that. And you've done such a good job with doing that. So what would you say if there's a high achiever? Because, we've got high achiever hosts of this podcast. We have high achiever listeners. What would you say to a high achiever that might feel like boundaries is going to cost them too much like money or momentum?
That's a great question.
Well, has it cost you putting those boundaries in place? Has it cost you money and momentum?
It has not.
Okay.
Now, before when I didn't have boundaries, it cost me everything. But no, I don't be afraid of boundaries. I would say try it. Like, just lean in a little. Every season looks different, right? Like, I feel like even seasons within our business, seasons within our families, like it all looks different. So don't be afraid to have boundaries, and they might change. It doesn't mean that it's permanent forever, right? I think that was one of the things that I learned, like, just over the years, like, this can look different on different weeks sometimes.
Well, I think one of the things that you shared in the beginning was super powerful about there's just certain things that it doesn't matter the level of business, or it doesn't matter the amount of money. Like, you've got your non-negotiables. Right? Yeah. I mean, you've got this short time, like, as you're talking about Lainey going to college, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, Olivia is 5 years from 18. Like, that is not a lot of time.
I remember thinking that a long time ago. I remember being like, oh my gosh, I only have 5 years left, or she only has 4 years left. And now I'm like, she's graduating in June. And it's okay. And I've had to reframe even that too. Like, I'm like, this is the gift I've been given, is to watch her go now live her big life, right?
Yes.
I have to reframe it because I catch myself, crying in the bathroom too, right? But, maybe it's, if you have to have these boundaries, maybe it's leverage. Maybe it's hiring, help at home or at work or something. Like, boundaries can look different, right? It doesn't always just have to be you doing everything.
Yeah.
But I would say start small. Like, even if it's that one day a week dinner that you just are like, you do that, you and George, right? Like, that's
every Thursday.
That's a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's transition a little bit and talk about being part of a blended family.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting, as I was thinking through doing this podcast with you, I was like, you've actually blended two families.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah. You blended your family, right? And then I think a merger in business is a blended family, and we blended our families, our business families a few years ago. So I know some of our listeners, right, are maybe looking at merging with someone, partnering with someone, or they are a new blended family, right? And this is a topic I don't feel is talked about enough. I mean, I don't know what the stats are, but there's got to be a lot of blended families in this country, right? Yeah. Blended families obviously have their challenges, right? And more challenges than I don't know what you would call non-blended families. I'm not sure what the term is.
Traditional?
Yeah, traditional? Yeah. Okay, sure. But I view anyways. Yeah, sure. What has been the biggest maybe growth edge for you, like, personally, because you're how many years in now?
We have been married over 5 years, but they've been, I guess, around each other even. I mean, 6, almost 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a husband, Glenn.
Mhm.
You've got 4 teenagers, and then you've got 2 co-parents, correct? Like your ex-husband, Glenn's ex-wife,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And all
Yeah. Raising
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Talk to me
Yes.
about like what have been the biggest like growth opportunities there for you?
Well, I think it's recognizing that every kid is different, whether you're a blended family or you're not a blended family. Like every child is different. Everyone's needs are different. It's never like this one size fits all. And I know that sounds kind of cliche, but like, especially now having 4 in front of me, and all 4 of them are so different and require just different communication styles, different ways we show up for them individually, or the conversations we have, or they're just so different. And so having to learn, like I said, communication or ways that you show appreciation, or like just, it has been very, I will say challenging, but also beautiful in the sense that it's made me a better person, human, like I think all the things, because it's not a just, oh, we're going to do this for this and this one for this one. And it's just, it's not, which it shouldn't be. Right.
That makes me think, I say it a lot, but comparison's the thief of joy, right? So when we're comparing our kids to each other, we will have less joy. When we're comparing our family to another family, we're going to have less joy. When we're comparing our business to another business versus like looking at our business saying what's best for our business versus someone else's, right? It's the thief of joy. Yeah. And I can see that shine in what you're sharing is like part of it is realizing that it's okay for whatever's good for your family, right? Whatever's good for that one child, that one is what you need to do, right? Versus trying to be like someone else or trying to. Another thing I admire so much about you is your positivity, and it's your number one strength. The way that you and that just shined right there in your answer, which is why I'm bringing it up, because like you do view every relationship as a unique one. I mean, I feel that way as your partner and as your friend. And I now see that with the way you mother, with, how you show up for the team. Where does the positivity like come from? Like when things get hard, right? When you have those hard moments with one of the kids, when you maybe have a bad month in the business, like how do you use your positivity strength to continue building?
This too shall pass.
Yes.
Again, there have been many nights, that I cry in the bathroom the minute I leave a conversation with a kid, right? They're never going to see that. Or in that moment, they weren't going to see that, or it wasn't meant for them to see it. And maybe it takes everything I have to be that for them. And then I just have to go and just release, right? But then knowing that tomorrow the sun's going to come up, it's going to be a new day, right? And we're going to tackle whatever's in front of us again. And I think it goes with raising kids. I think it goes with business. It's never enough to make you just go, man, just throw in the towel. That's it. I just have always been just, we get another day to do this again. And we might get it really, really wrong today with this kid or with this client or whatever it is, but tomorrow we get the chance to do it again, and we can do it differently. So I think reflection on some of that too, knowing that, man, that was a great conversation that I did not know was going to lead to X, Y, and Z, but wow. And then knowing that, it might be different with the next kid, and it has been. That's been another thing, is just the way I approach topics or the way we talk about things. And I try to do that with the next one, and it just lays flat. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to try a different way. But again, I think it's just recognizing that it's all going to be okay. Yeah. It's all going to work itself out the way it's supposed to.
I know you mentioned having that open communication, right, with your teenagers is so important. How else do you define winning in your personal life?
Being able to be fully present. I think it's making sacrifices, right? And so like I'm leaving early from family reunion because Lainey has senior night for her swim team, right? And I wasn't planning to do this until this date was thrown on my calendar late. And I thought, well, business is going to stop and I'm going to go. home, and it's going to be inconvenient to drive and not see this person on a panel. I mean, Glenn's on a panel the moment I need to be getting in the car, right? But I'm like, it's okay. This comes first, right?
Yeah.
Busyness and work, it's great and it will be there, but her childhood and high school and all those things won't be, and that's where I'm going to be. Like, that's where, so I think it's being present, just knowing that there's going to be sacrifices to be made, and then that's okay.
It's so powerful to hear the wins of your big life, right? How would you define winning with your business right now?
That's a great question. So I think a business that's growing without requiring personal sacrifice, right? Or constant sacrifice from me. The team, that thrives, that they know that they can set personal boundaries, in their personal lives and in their business lives too, right? Obviously, systems that we have, at EmpowerHome that don't require me to constantly be everywhere. That's a huge win, right? And same for the agents too. So, I think all of those things combined create that big business.
Okay, so let's say there's someone listening right now, and there are people listening right now. So thank you for listening. Okay, and they're listening and they just feel like that they love this concept of boundaries, but they just feel like it's too fragile to even do anything right now. And they're like, maybe in a year or two, I can re-listen to this and have put some boundaries in place and protect that big business and even more importantly, the bigger life. What would you say to her?
I would say don't wait, right? I would say don't wait for a crisis or for something major to happen to fix what matters most right now.
I love that.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question and try my best not to cry, so I'm not going to look at you.
Okay.
So, but when all 4 kids are grown, right? They're out of the house and the business has continued to grow and you're continuing to win. What do you hope your adult kids say about the way that you built both your life and your business?
Now you're going to make me cry. I hope they say she built an incredible business, but I never questioned, I never wondered, or I never even had the thought that we didn't matter most, right? That we matter more than business.
Yeah.
But she built this incredible business.
Yeah.
I'm finding it now that they are asking business questions, or they'll see me doing things and they just, they're teenagers. They're becoming mini adults, right? And they're asking business questions and I'm like, I love it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they see it. Like they're really seeing, the conversations and the, all the things that really matter. But I hope they never question that they mattered more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They will always matter more.
Well, I don't know the future, but I know you and I get to do so much of life with you. And then I also just know the amazing mom that you are. And I can guarantee that that's going to be what they say. You're an amazing partner, you're an amazing friend, you're an amazing wife and mom. And it's an honor to know you. And thank you so much for being here with me. I took so many great notes and so much gold was dropped. Just some of the highlights, right? Refusing to build something professional that it costs me on the personal side, right? As you're listening right now, what are some things right now that are costing you on the personal side that you are accepting on the business side that maybe you need to reconsider? I would encourage you to think about that after hearing today, right? Setting those boundaries both personally and professionally and being open with your team and with your people about the boundaries because they are always going to watch what we do way more than what we say, right? And matching your family with the needs of where they're at that moment and whether you're going to talk to one kid one way and another kid another way, like being there for them when they need you most. And what I loved is give it a try. If you are nervous about setting a boundary, start small, maybe have that one dinner a week, whatever that might be, but try it and watch your business continue to grow. I know in my own life, as I put boundaries in place, my business took off. That boundaries is actually what led to it because what I realized is so many of the things I was actually enabling them to not do their job versus when you don't do that right, that's when your business can truly grow. Thank you guys so much for listening. Let's get out there. Let's build a big business, but don't forget that even bigger life. Thanks, Kristen. Have a great week.
This podcast is for general informational purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions of the guest represent those of the guest and not Keller Williams Realty LLC and its affiliates, and should not be construed as financial, economic, legal, tax, or other advice. This podcast is provided without any warranty or guarantee of its accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or results from using the information.